The following statements you are about to hear are not made to offend or hurt anybody's feelings, although we may discuss serious topics. It's all entertainment, man. In all reality, don't take too serious. Have fun, laugh a little bit, relax. Let's talk about it. Shades Talk.
Alright, Politic'n with Shades. Be back with another episode. Got my man Prop.
Yeah. What's good, man?
Sir.
We back at it. Yes, sir.
And we got
Peace, world.
Special guest, Joe Scrutchen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me.
What's up, man? Appreciate you coming
appreciate
through,
you.
man.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you coming on the show, guys. So
I've been trying to get him on for a minute, man. Real quick, this is my guy, man. Met each other at the gig through the workplace. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of took me under his wing, and we became like cool. Like we both kind of fighting for the same thing in the community, being black men with kids of our own. So that movement kind of brought us together. So I appreciate you coming through. We spoke on it a few times. So
Yeah.
appreciate you coming through, big dog, man. How y'all feeling, man? How you doing?
Man, yeah, I'm feeling all right, too. I'm feeling okay.
Yeah, man. So, hey, man, it's been a long week. It's raining outside right now. You know, y'all know I play softball on Sundays, dog. So they rained out my game. So I'm a little upset about that, but we gonna make it do what it do. Yeah, couldn't get my exercise like I wanted. You know what I'm saying? But back to my guy Joe, man. So appreciate you coming through, man. If you don't mind, like just give us a little bit introduction about yourself, brother.
Man, so I'm just gonna say, man, I'm just a regular guy. Simplicity, is my middle name. My father first, 4 kids. Oldest is 15. The youngest is 1, finna be 2. She running the whole household. So we definitely just taking care of business as a father. Youngstown, Ohio in the building. So
Okay.
I gotta rep that.
Youngstown.
Born and raised there until about 15. Then I moved here to the bus. So yeah, I appreciate y'all having me on here.
Okay.
Appreciate you, man, coming on the show.
For sure, man. For sure, Youngstown. Now, how far is that from Columbus, man? Like
About 2.5, 3 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, for sure, man. Appreciate that. And like I said, we met through the workplace, had plenty of convos about this stuff. I'm as a father too, being a coach, being a dad, working in the community, sometimes being a mentor for those who don't have dads. We done talked about some things, man, coming up with some programs, working on some community service. I kind of stumbled upon it going through Google. You know what I mean? Like hearing through things where I'm at. So like, why do y'all think this doesn't like reach us? You know what I'm saying? Like you got to go through hills and valleys to get this type of information, man. Or is it just me?
I'm not gonna say it doesn't reach us, or we don't have the ability to get the information.
Yeah.
It's just that, and I'm not gonna put on the whole culture, but I'll just put it on my specific situation.
Okay.
Growing up it was more of a luxury to be able to take a break and get information in reference to your community, your taxes, your tariffs, what type of bills and laws are being passed, because
that word tariff has been going around a lot.
Yeah, it's out there.
Yeah. I'm just saying, because the people that before us were so busy trying to survive in the general sense, to make sure that we were surviving, that was really what they were tied up with. Now you have those that are far few between, but they did take the extra steps, and they were very involved in the community in reference to the bills and going to vote and whatnot. Yeah. And it's a lot better. We're a lot more knowledgeable now, but we still have a long ways to go. The information is out there. It's just about how much time are you going to devote to finding that information out.
Yeah, and I definitely I agree with what you said on that. That word survive. That's one thing that we trying to do is survive. So when it comes to maybe putting in like some extra work to really go to maybe a town hall meeting, or to go to the rec center to listen to, your city council, or to go, certain places. Do we have the time to do that? We out here, we taking care of kids, we doing whatever we can do to survive out here. So that word survive is definitely something big in our community.
Right. On top of I hear what you saying. Just get a little pushback, just to have a full conversation. Like even if you do go to the town meetings, right? So I'm born and raised in Buffalo, New York. You know what I mean? I moved to this city about 10, 11 years ago. So you move in different states. Some states move differently than others. You know what I mean? I know there's a lot of gatekeeping where I'm from. You know what I mean? So even when you do go to the town meetings and all that, they give you the word salad, as we like to call it.
Yeah.
A bunch of words, a bunch of bullshit. You know what I mean? And yeah, we're going to do this and that, give you what you want to hear, and then never hear from them again. So it's like, even if you do go to the town meetings and you do as a community put in the effort, as sometime as a community we don't, call us, let's be honest. But even when you do, it's still it's a lot of talk but no action, pretty much. My long-winded thing is saying.
So I can definitely follow with that. I think that, us as a community, we go there, but not just going there. We got to be present there. That's we facts. Gotta, like they said before, raise your hand in class and say something. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we gotta do. Your voice gotta be heard.
Yeah, that's real.
So, and when you go there, be prepared. That's the number one thing. Everybody has an opinion on the situation, but you got to educate yourself on what you're speaking on. And that's where a lot of it kind of gets misconstrued, because they think that we are all the same.
Exactly.
And one person speaks for all of us, which, just like any culture, any nationality or race, not one person speaks for the whole race, nationality, and culture. So when we do get to these platforms, we have to do a better job of making sure our opinion is going to get counted, because it's a legitimate opinion. It's based off of information that you've studied, you've at least read what you're complaining about.
Right.
And
exactly.
then, because a lot of people have complaints, and then they find out the truth, and then the complaint goes away. Like, oh,
they find out the truth.
You know what I mean? So that's number one. But definitely going there, having your voice heard is just as important. Don't be scared to speak up. Don't be scared to get involved in your town meetings.
Exactly.
That's real.
Because that's how things get changed. If we all sit back and wait for the next person to do something, it's not going to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like the the old saying, like when you at work and everybody been told to do something, and I ain't gonna do it, they gonna get to it. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna do it, they gonna get to it. I ain't gotta worry about it. Then it doesn't get done. You know what I'm saying? So definitely understand that it's an uphill battle, especially being a black man in America, as I said before. Get not only and it's cool to not know the information. We ain't gotta stunt like we do. You, in order to get the information and get the knowledge, you gotta ask questions, you gotta do research, you gotta seek those who may be smarter, you know what I mean, and at the end of the day. And so I understand that. I do understand that. Great point. Especially speaking on what we doing here with the podcast, Politic'n with Shades, and trying to get the message out and speak on things, and some things that you and I doing, like working on community programs, fatherhood programs, to invite other men with the same like mind, or I don't know, man, just like creativeness to come together and do what we need to do. It's a tall task, but I don't think it's impossible, which kind of goes to my next thought. Trying to like swerve it along. We got a few topics to talk about. Can we as a people like really ever align with each other? You get what I'm saying? Or are we so jaded or so far gone into the system that we can't come together? You know what I'm saying? You see the Asians do it, see the Arabs do it. Shit, that they come into our communities and got a pipeline for their own people to own the businesses and the real estate in the communities we live in.
Yeah.
So speaking on going to the meetings and the town halls and doing what we need to do, can we ever align like that? You know what I'm saying? It's a question for both of y'all. I'm getting my TED talk on today. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you, big dog. You usually do this, but we here to have a conversation. So y'all thoughts?
I think we can do it. It's not a matter of us not being able to do it. And even though we have had setbacks, but we've come a long way. So appreciate where we've come from. I think a lot of people lose focus of that.
Okay.
Because
you think we came a long way, bro? That's
we've come a long way.
All right.
We've come a long way. When you think about lineage and history, our culture in this country is a very small, short period of time.
Yeah.
So if you go to other cultures, you go to Ireland, you go to European, they have castles that are thousands of years old. They have family crests. They can date their families back not 100 years, 200 years, 500 years, 600. They can go back and give you their whole timeline from what they know.
Yeah.
You know, most of us don't even know where our great grandparents are from.
Exactly.
You know, what's that? 2-3 generations?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we're not that far removed from where we were at. And if you want to take it back to nitty gritty as far as slavery, it's not really that far removed. So for us to come this far in 400 years or whatnot, we've done it in a very drastic fashion, especially with everything that's been pinned against us. So we've come definitely a long way.
I see how you break it. The overall broad scope of it all. Scope. I get it.
But I think the youth, and it's not necessarily their fault. I'll take part in that. The generations and before us are going to have to take part in that.
Man.
But they've lost track of what their predecessors went through. Like, they don't even know. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They don't even know. And the pride that they have within themselves is not. Everybody else has pride to be who they are. And I think we do too, but they don't hold them other people accountable.
Nah.
Okay. In their own presence.
Nah. And Joe, before you chime in, because I want your answer to that. Like, you had the whole broad. I get it, and that's a fact, man. But it going back to, like you said, the generation before us. I don't know, man, but me, this go around, as the older you get, you see like age ain't nothing but a number, dog. Like, a lot of these OGs out here are looking nuts, and that makes the young generation look like, my nigga, well, what do I look like looking at it, taking advice from you know what I'm saying? And that's a trickle down effect. And then it comes back to like, well, damn, can we really come together in a line if this trickle down effect from the systematic stuff, you know what I mean? When they broke up the homes, and we ain't even dig deep into that part, but it's just like, you know what I mean? But go ahead, Joe. I don't even want to.
So, I mean, man, Peter, I mean, you really, you know, touching on like this, just the systematic stuff and everything that we done went through, and just, you know, the generational curses, and just talking about, let's just talk about like the fatherhood absence in the home too. So that's one thing right there. So that is just a generational thing after generation after generation after generation, where we got fathers missing in our community. So, you know, I went to a kind of like a town hall type of thing, and that was one of the topics, like, hey, the fatherhood absence in the Black community, you know. So that's one of the things that we really gotta, like, you know, be better at doing, you know, having kids, but taking care of kids, not just having them, you know. And as far as us just coming together, you know, as a community, you know, I think it's some of us that can come together, but I don't know if all of us can, you know. So you get with the people, and you know, you get with the people that want to come together, and then y'all make something happen. That's how I feel about it.
And before you jump back in, Jay, like that, you kind of like took my response a little bit. Yeah, that's but no, you good. You good. I like that. You know what I mean? Like minds, you know what I'm saying? But that's real, because everybody can't go, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are going to be people, you know what I mean, that's not going to really get it or understand, or might hold back the movement and might catch on later, and this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, you gravitate toward the folks that's willing to do what they got to do, and like try to form the community that way. You know what I'm saying? Definitely, like, that's, you know, like I said, I'm not from here. You know what I mean? Y'all brothers are, you know, and I moved here, you know what I mean, by the strength of my son getting involved in him in the basketball rec center and baseball in the community. I met my good brother right here, and then proceed to, you know, get advice, and you know, one job situation wasn't working, then I get into another job situation, thank God it's working. Then I meet my brother over here, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's what it is, and we got to build on, man. We can't save everybody. You wish you could, but it is like, that's how it begins. That's how it starts. And that's how it has to continue. So I think the alignment can happen, but like you said, it all depends on the surrounding tribe of people. And back to what you said, as far as we have come a long way. If we grasp that and understand that, you know, maybe we can make moves. But then it comes back to like peeling the onion back, you know how I do. You know what I mean? Going back to the original conversation about the grants and the funding, it's like, even the people that's not from here get the easy work. You know what I mean? They know how to come into town and, you know, grab the storefronts and the corner stores and all of that, and then bring back they people and come in and that. And it's like, you know, I'm not the highest grade of weed in the dispensary. You know what I'm saying? But it's like I see something is missing. It's something that we missing and not seeing. So I don't know, man. I'm going on a tangent, but at the end of the day, do I believe we can come together? Absolutely. But it definitely takes a village, and everybody can't come into that village. You know what I'm saying?
All right, so let's talk about it. All right, so the grants and the funding. A lot of communities a lot of people are coming here. They're getting free money. They're getting assistance from the government. It's not really any different from things that we can do, but it's more of an education factor. So how do we go about trying to apply for those grants in reference to, you know, small businesses, startup businesses, or just trying to get a program started?
I would just say, like, I think it's more so, like we said, like the education thing. You know, we gotta do the education, and then it's like one thing that I heard is like, you know, each one teach one. You know what I'm saying? So once you learn, teach the next one about it. You know, we need to go to that grant website, which, you know, I think it's ohiogrants.gov. I want to say that, but it may not be right. So don't fact check me on it. But you know, just I would say go to that website and, you know, read about it. But you also got to be, you know, you got to know how to, you know, write the grant. You got to know how to put everything, you know, in perspective so that, you know, you can actually get that funding, you know. So that's definitely one thing that we got to do. Yeah,
I dig that, man. Each one teach one. That's real. Whatever the case may be, because there's some things that, like I said, I don't know. I learned from these brothers here, and like vice versa. I hope I might have some game that they might not have heard, but it's definitely a trickle down effect. But it's also, I come back. I know I said this word before, like, and it's real. That gatekeeping stuff, man. I don't know, like, especially within our, maybe it's just me, maybe I'm bugging, but it seems like a lot of times when some of our people do get that information, they don't share it, they don't spread it. Not to make no excuse that we shouldn't do our own research, but still, like, the other side don't make it on their own. You get what I'm saying? And when I say the other side, you know what I mean. Yes, they 500 generations ahead of us. Don't get it twisted. But still, it's like when they gravitate towards some information that might help them achieve some power, some goals, they share it amongst certain people, and it seems like that doesn't happen with us. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So Joe and P, y'all talking about a program earlier that you were trying to get started in reference to fatherhood. Is that something you guys can expel on or go a little deeper on?
So yeah, I mean, we definitely can talk about that. Okay. So, you know, just in the workplace, you know, we started a fatherhood employee resource group. So that's just basically making sure that, you know, we want to, you know, spread that fatherhood knowledge around the building. We want to make sure that fatherhood is uplifted in our workplace. That's one thing that we want to do. We want to make sure that we have that community so that when we meeting, that fathers feel, you know, comfortable sharing things and everything. So I'm gonna pass it to P.
Yeah. First, to get on the personal side of it. Just personally, just for the simple fact of bro even reaching out to me. You know what I mean? It helped. Speaking on the P, you back on the each one teach one. You know what I'm saying? I was new to the field, and I'm searching for purpose. You know what I mean? You know how I do. I like to coach, like to mentor the young kids. I like to be the person I wish I had growing up. You know what I mean? Just to get a youngin' a chance outside of my sons. You know what I mean? I got several kids. I travel. I'm a travel coach, assistant coach. Shout out Columbus Bandits. You know what I mean? And try to find growth and knowledge everywhere so I can continue to be the pipeline to the person I am supposed to be in this world. But back to Brother Joe, like, he came to me. He saw a young brother who's a father. We spoke about our dealings of balancing home life, work life, how it can be tricky sometimes and hard, especially as, let's call a spade, black men in America, black men in the corporate world. You know what I'm saying? It's different for us. I ain't got to explain it in this room, but it's different for us. So we was trying to find a way to find a balance. And he had this tremendous idea of starting a fatherhood resource group program to help us with that balance, to start not only that to be the stepping point for something at the gig, but something outside of it as well, to turn it into a community resource, to turn it into a program for young fathers and people that's dealing with trying to balance work and home, or becoming a parent, or have been a parent for a while, or you know what I'm saying, like just some type of community that can expand and turn into something. And I appreciate you for like bringing me in, you know what I'm saying, reaching out to me and like, hey dog, I got this idea, I want you to be a part of it. So we trying to have it grow and turn into something. And now it's like it went from an idea in his brain to an actual resource group, and hopefully it expanded, turned into something outside as well.
So I mean, definitely, like, even we could talk about like the first topic that we talked about was, what is fatherhood? So we showed a short clip and we asked about what is fatherhood, so it was explained as like fatherhood to me is leadership is influence. And these is all two things that you can learn, that you can develop. So when we have a kid, I have my first kid at 22, then you know that, hey, am I ready for this? Am I ready for this? But you learn, you have mentors. I have my father, but people that don't have a father, you can get a mentor. You can definitely do certain things that makes you ready. You can learn that leadership skill because every father has that leadership skill in them, especially good fathers.
Yeah.
That's a very good truth. Like you said, reach one, teach one. So if you feel like you are a good father and you have the necessities, why not go reach out to another one and just talk to them and have a conversation?
Exactly.
So I remember when I was my first child, I was younger, and I would not even go talk to the parents at the other venues. I mean, I'm talking about when he was young, so maybe like 2 or 3, we might be going to do something, and I'm kind of just sitting in the back, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I don't know why I didn't feel like I could just go and introduce myself or whatnot. Maybe that was just my youthful ignorance. But now I kind of make it a point to, hey, how you doing? I'm James, blase, get some information, because you never know when that's going to come in handy with your child, because it does take a village.
Exactly.
To raise a child. You can do your best as a father, but there's always some other assets out there that are available to you, and other people have things that y'all can benefit from each other.
Exactly.
Hey dog, speaking of that, like that's real, because I could vouch for that, because my kid started playing basketball. His kid was on the same team, and I'm an introvert for real. I don't really, you know what I mean. But bro, he was out there working with the kids. Came up, hey, Pete, this is my son. Or I'm Jay, this is my son. That caused me to speak up, and then we became tight. Bro found out I did music. He do a podcast. We linked up. You know what I'm saying? Community. You know what I'm saying? So like we what we speak about, we really about, man. You know what I mean? And I'm blessed to like even be an example of what you talking about just now. You know what I mean? And that's how it's supposed to be. So speaking of like that kind of goes into I had a question too, if that's added on to what you was talking about. Balancing the work and the home life. We kind of touched on that in our first meeting as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And being that we do wear many hats outside of our body for real. And when I mean body, I mean metaphorically speaking. Sometimes it's easy to lose yourself when you wear many hats. But on top of being a father, being a husband, working a gig and doing all that, somewhere you still gotta find you or hold on to you or your childhood dream and all of that. So how do and I guess speaking for me, like, cause I'm all ears to hear ideas, cause I struggle with it from time to time. How do your brothers balance the work and the home? You know what I mean? How do you maintain that balance and not tip? I always say to me and my pops guys, we tiptoe the line of insanity every day, dog. Yeah. You know what I mean? How do we not cross over that line?
To the grace of God.
Man. God is good all the time. All the time, God is good.
I've got no other answer for you. Nah. For me personally, health is a big thing. Major. It keeps me motivated. So when I get to the gym and get really heavy into working out and keep my health up, that pushes my energy level up, and I'm able to deal with stress a lot better. Because when I'm not as healthy, the stress weighs on me a lot more than it normally would. Because you're gonna have stress.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Period. There ain't no way you can get
life.
around it. You're gonna have the stress, but how you deal with it and how you're able to bounce back from it is how has been the key to my sanity personally.
Mm-hmm. Now that's real, man. And I know, Joe, you want to chime in, like that health journey part, especially as a black man. We gotta take care of our health, fellas. We want to be here for a long time. Stress kills. There's all type of silent killers that add to that stress. You won't see the symptoms, but you gotta take care of our health, man. Like, dog, I'm a depressive person. Sometimes I go through things. I was at my biggest at 310 pounds, man. I've been on this health journey for the last year and a half. I'm down to 245 now. And it's just like, I know the more that I move and the more that I, stay on this health tip, the better I feel. You know what I mean? So I know you wanted to add on to that, Joe. So speak on that, on the balance on how you move, brother.
So just, me moving is, I'm with the health tip, in order for me to find some time to even get to that gym, it's 4:30 in the morning when I'm getting up, wiping the crust out of my eyes, trying to make it to the gym, And once I do that, then I feel like, my day is good. I feel good. I'm motivated, I'm ready to get things done. I'm coming in to work, 100 miles an hour because my blood is already pumping, so, definitely the health thing is a big thing. But, right now, what we doing right now is a big thing. Just having an outlet, that's that outlet that a lot of men don't have. It's just, us being able to talk about stuff, us being able to get it off our chest, self-care, and then, one thing that men don't do, what a lot of men don't do, and what we was taught, at least what I was taught was, man don't cry.
Man.
So hey, if you got to cry, go ahead and let it go. That's one thing that, I say, if you got to let it go, that's the biggest thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave it there.
Nah, it wasn't just you that was brought up on that, bro. I think that's kind of like a back to community. I think that I think a lot of us, I know I can't speak for everybody, but I know, love my parents to death, but a lot of folks in our community grew up in survival mode. Our parents, did the best they could by how they was taught and how they learned, and it's a trickle down effect to that. You know what I mean? And it's on us to like break cycles on how we move, and that's how we working on what we trying to do. And I had to learn as I got older, it was cool to cry. You know what I'm saying? Because it was a punk move. It wasn't, you can't show no emotion. You the man, you know what I'm saying? 15, 14, you being told you the man of the house when I'm not around. Take care of your mama, take care of your little sister, do this, that, and the third. And it adds we not only did we was out here partying at an early age, you know what I mean, rushing to grow up that way, but we really were rushed to grow up to be adults because of how we were raised and everything like that. So I try to instill that, and especially my two boys. I got a 15-year-old and an 8-year-old, man. It's cool to show emotion. I'm here. Like, don't think you can't talk to dad. You know what I'm saying? Right. Don't think dad is too hard or too mean for you not to come and be vulnerable with. So like that's, as I'm always a person that goes off of action and not just words. So I can't talk about it. I be about it. It's like you said, Joe, what we doing here and speaking on things. I can show my son that it's okay to, let things go and let tears out. And that's how you cleanse things. That's how you stay tough and stay motivated and stay ready to move. So, You know what I'm saying?
Okay, for sure.
Yeah. This might be going a little bit deep with it, but
we here.
I had to think about it honestly because we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, and I think that's where a lot of the mental health issues kind of stem from because we take the whole brunt of everything on by ourselves. Because you're gonna be a father, if you get married, you're gonna be a husband. Yeah, you're a brother, uncle. You know what I'm saying? Cousin. So a lot of stand-up dudes, they support a lot of people.
Facts.
Like a lot of people. If you are an uncle, then you not only got your son, you got your nieces and nephews that you're going to take care of. You know what I mean? You a son, some people's son spouses.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like they their mother's son, but they also do everything like they would the spouse.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Especially if you come from a single parent household. So it can weigh down on you in such a heavy manner that you feel like you don't have nowhere to turn because everybody's already dependent on you. You know what I mean? So the outlet for that would be like what we are doing now. You know what I mean? get yourself involved in the community center or whatnot, because there are other brothers that feel just like you, and y'all can lean on each other and talk about it, and y'all will have the same struggles and more in common than you think, just based off of that. And it's not about you liking the same music, liking the same sports, but you guys are pretty much living damn near identical lives at the end of the day. So how can we help each other get through that process? You know what I mean?
Yeah. You hit the nail on the coffin. Like, we gotta have a conversation here, man. Because at the end of the day, all you got is you. If you're not taking care of yourself, nobody's gonna take care of you but you, even though you taking care of everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, folks will be there. Folks will hold you down. Not saying they won't, but at the end of the day, for you to survive, it takes you. You know what I'm saying? And other people can relate to that and understand. Because sometimes you can drown just being that person and not having that outlet to talk about it. You know what I mean? The things that you go through. It's so easy to take care of the people and speak on what they need to do. But when you that person that's holding it down for everybody, and it don't even got to be financially, for real. If it's emotion, mental, being there when they need to vent, talk to somebody, that takes away from your armor as well. It drains your battery, it drains your energy, and it's easy to fall into the hype because, you know, all funny jokes can change true shit. And Chris Rock had a joke about how, you know, women and dogs and children are loved unconditionally.
Man.
But with us, you know, that love come with a condition.
It definitely does.
So at the end of the day, you really feel like all you got is you, because you don't have a condition for your love for everybody else. But no matter how, you know, much love you getting from a person, in the back of your brain, you kind of feel like, you know, that come with a condition. So you got to find an outlet to with other brothers that feel that way, and that kind of helps the community adjust and come together. Speaking on what we was talking about earlier, because you got a healthy outlet. Now, don't get it twisted. We human. I have a red cup right now as we speak. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, if you just leaning on certain vices too much, it becomes toxic. It becomes detriment to the environment. It becomes detriment to the growth. But if you have stuff like this and what we doing and what we trying to do and push forward, that helps the growth, that enhance the growth. Yeah, speaking of the growth, my album is out now on all platforms. But, you know, I'm dragging, but that's, you know, we come full circle with our conversations for a reason, brothers. And it's like, this is what it's need to spark something, you know, to spark that brain that's going to change the world. You know what I mean? That's what Pac said, you know. I know I will spark that brain that'll change the world. I might not be here when the world change, but I'm going to spark that brain that's going to change the world. And that starts with,
that's true,
you know, let me get off my soapbox. But
I do want to say this, because this is another topic that I kind of want to dive into for a little bit. And it kind of all, it's a full circle situation. But the family unit is super important. And that's where a lot of cultures, they grow their wealth. You know what I'm saying? They have a family unit, and they plan on that family keeping that money. You know what I mean? But it takes everybody in their part. So I want to say this, fellas and women, choose your spouse properly.
Oh man!
Yeah, say that one more time for the people.
So you got to
choose your spouse properly, because you're gonna find out the older you get, that's almost one of the most beneficial things and assets you'll have in your life. You know what I mean? And a lot of us get in these relationships young, and it's not just the men, it's the women too. You don't even know what to look for in a spouse, and maybe because nobody ever showed you. You know what I mean? And then you tie yourself down to somebody and y'all don't even like each other.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So that's because if I can depend on my wife to get my back and hold it down when I'm not able to hold it down, that's going to double us up at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Then we'll make plans for our future, and then our kids will see that, and then we'll be able to teach them how to grow the family unit properly, so that we can get the trust in line. Because the money's not going to be an issue at that point.
That's a fact.
It's going to be how much can we make and how much can we, you know, make this family go.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all, the stress will be so much less.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. Man,
yeah,
a lot of people could say themselves.
You want to chime into that, brother?
Man,
go ahead, because I'm gonna follow suit.
The family unit is definitely so important.
Yeah.
I mean, I really don't even know where to start. That just, we start from when we was growing up, and you kind of see your family,
mm-hmm.
and it may be a family you see your parents, and that may be a family that you want to kind of, emulate to the next, to your family, right? That's what I'm trying to say. You see that, but what if you ain't see that when you was growing up? You know what I'm saying? What if you didn't see that? What if you like, hey, all I see is, a whole bunch of, BS going on around me.
Mm-hmm.
So like Jay was saying, how do you know who to pick? How do you know who to pick?
Not only do you know how, all right, let's talk about it.
Look, let me hit you one more.
Yes, sir.
One more
yes, sir. My bad.
Wow. So even with my son being 15 and him, maybe starting to get out on a dating scene and stuff like that. I'm telling them like, hey, what's going on? She got mom and dad at the house. She got this. She got that. I want to know what's going on, and I'm trying to say, hey, we gotta let me meet the parents and stuff like that, because he just had some young lady saying, hey, I want you to meet my parents, and I'm like, is it mom and dad or who? Who is it? So I pass it to you, P.
Hey, yeah. Let's have a conversation, bro. Because, like, you hit something and you hit something. And you just hit something. First on what you hit. Trauma bond is real, dog.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff can get mistaken for real love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Love can also be a drug. You feel me? It's a lot of stuff that you may think is logic, but you going off emotion. I say all that to say, be smart in who you dealing with. And not only top of that, Jay, because you bring marriage into it. You want to get real into the peel more layers of the onion back. Marriage is a business.
Yes, it is.
Hey.
You get me? You sign papers when you get married, G.
Yep.
So if you're not in tune or you're not in line with your star power, I forgot where that came from, but it came from somewhere. All hell gonna break loose, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, teamwork is teamwork. And when you form Kobe and Shaq, you get 4 rings. You get 3 rings. You get what I'm saying? Like that, what you said hit the nail on the coffin, G. You know what I mean? Which leads to where you said with giving game to your son. Because speaking for me, not speaking for everybody, you go through what you go through, you learn what you learn through. Hove got a line, Hove did that. So hopefully you ain't gotta go through that. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? So we try to explain, like, same thing on my son. He 15. He's involved in a relationship. Hey G, you are a priority first.
Mm-hmm.
Understand that. You got time to be an adult later, but even when you get an adult, I'm going to still give you the same game. You have to put yourself first as a priority. And second, you definitely have to see, like you touched on, Joe, what is the home environment like? Mm-hmm. Because back to the trickle-down effect, if the home environment is toxic, 9 times out of 10, what you're going to go through in this relationship is going to be toxic. Yep. Because if the adult in that relationship that your girl or a man come from is not on that respectable, responsible adult type of time, but still going through their own trauma where they stuck in the cognitive age of not being a responsible an adult and your kid going through a toxic environment because of that, they see how that adult move. That's going to affect how they move.
100%.
And that might affect how y'all move in a relationship. So again, full circle moment with what everybody said, dog. When it comes to this relationship situation, know what you're dealing with beforehand. Before responsibilities come into effect that may not have been there if you really know what you was dealing with in the first place.
And then one thing I want to touch on real quick is, we always hear when you get married, happy wife, happy life. We hear that, but what about everybody being happy, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like Peter said, you got to take care of yourself, and your spouses got to take care of each other.
100%.
So that's what we need to be preaching.
Happy team, we gon' beam, baby.
Oh yeah, I like that. I like that.
Yeah, that's the new slogan.
Happy team, we gon' beam.
Y'all gotta do it together, man.
Nah.
Because if y'all focusing on one person, it's never going to be a copacetic situation. Everybody else might be happy, but there's gonna be one person who's not happy.
Yep.
And then they end up having a heart attack at 42, and you like, what happened? What happened? Everything was just good. This man is stressed out the last 15, 20 years, or the female didn't stress out the last 15, 20 years. So what are the others? You know what I mean?
Jay, you kind of chopped up on something.
Man.
I know we got to dip out soon. We gonna wrap it up shortly, man. But this gender war thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because this relationship conversation, let's bring full circle with it. Like, I turned 40, you know what I mean? I'm still a young man, but I'm not young. Involved, relationship, love my wife, love you back. But this thing I see, because we got teenagers, we got kids, we got nieces, we got nephews, we got we deal with young kids in the community, even that's not kids that's not our own, 20 and up, 18, 19, young. We see this generation is different. When I was in high school, the internet wasn't too crazy. It was in the stages of it. We ain't had Facebook and all that, but MySpace was coming around. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't too crazy like it is now. So it's easy to put an opinion out. It's easy to it's easy to see the back and forth. This gender war shit, bro. Like, do you think it's more toxic internet, or is it like real life situations?
So expel to me, what do you mean by gender war?
So like, you see a lot of why men can't do this, right?
Oh, okay.
Why women can't do this. You see podcasts that's really all about they whole clickbait is all about gender wars. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You see a lot of this corny stuff that goes on. We don't do none of that here at Politic'n and Shades, by the way. We just have conversations. Joe, I think you have witnessed what's been going on tonight, brother.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying? But we do see out there. Like, if you got a phone, if you got a TV, if you go on streaming, you see what's going on. A lot of toxic masculinity out there.
Yeah.
A lot of, if my man ain't 6 feet out there. A lot of goofy stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just wondering, is it like real life? Is that also a detriment to what we trying to achieve here, or is let's just have a conversation about it? What's your thoughts, man? Yeah, let's have some fun, man.
So I think some of it is clickbait.
Okay,
I think people are just trying to push a narrative to get views and stuff like that. Because you got to understand, this is the world where how famous you are on the internet is actually currency now.
Man,
it actually turns into real money.
Fame is a hell of a drug,
so,
or whatever Rick James said.
Yeah, there's a lot of these internet personalities where you can't take them too serious, because if you were to talk to them in person,
man,
you wouldn't even know who you was talking to. You'd be like, "Oh, it's a regular dude." You get in front of the camera, say whatever you want to say. Guess what? You're just gonna get paid for it.
Right.
So that's one part of the game. The other part of the game is that people do have their real own opinions about the situation, and gender wars is a hot topic right now. Mm-hmm. And I have one thing for the women. I can understand why y'all tired, because I can see dudes trying to be the women too.
Oh man,
in the relationship. So
it's real
that is one thing. Yeah, that is one thing. And I'm not talking about your sexual orientation.
Right.
I'm just talking about how you carry yourself,
how you move
as a man. You know what I'm saying? If you're in the relationship and you're carrying yourself as the man of that relationship, then there is certain things you are supposed to do. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
That's
how you guys split up the cooking and the cleaning is one thing. That's not even what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the masculine energy you're supposed to carry in the room, and to know that your family's protected. You know what I'm saying? They know that you're going to hold it down for them. They know you're going to be a provider. Even if you don't got it, you're going to work your butt off to make it happen. We're going to figure it out together. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? There's some feminine energy my wife is going to have for me, that I know that when I get home from work, I'm going to get a nice rub on the back. You know what I'm saying? She's going to talk to me how I need to be talked to put a battery in my back. Mm-hmm. You know, there's certain things. So those are the roles I'm talking about. And those are lost.
Got you.
Yeah. You feel me?
Got you.
And I don't know if it's because the women been having to play the man role for so long that they just all tough now, because that's just how they have had to survive, or what the situation is. But everybody has a part. We got to do a better job of doing our part
You said it right there, bro. Yeah. Everybody has a part. That's what get misconstrued. Like, don't get it twisted. It's not like, oh, women got to do this. Ha rah rah. Nah, dog. We not saying none of that. It's just it's weird energy right now, and it seems like the energy is confused on what side to be on. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of sim individuals out here, men and women, that's messing up the game. Then you got a lot of folks out here that don't. You know what I mean? Like, it's cool to open doors still. It's okay. Yeah, I mean, it's okay to tell your shorty, hey, man, get dressed. We out at 8 tonight. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, Joe. Like, it's just weird energy. And like you said, clickbait, that's real.
Yeah.
Gender war is real on the basis of there's a lot of what I'm trying to say. Deception. Deception, war, just like having somebody fully healthy, that doesn't make money. Giving them pills to mask it, that makes money, right? Divisive energy, what keeps it going? What clickbait? Fame is a hell of a drug. All this shit is a reason, and like I said last time, the world is a stage, right? Like, divisive energy wins. It keeps the energy going. It keeps the clicks. It keeps the numbers going sky high. It's not cool to be yourself no more. We in a weird space.
Yeah.
So like that's what I see.
So I'm just gonna go with the clickbait and everything like that, and just this whole internet situation is just, I mean, it's out of control, man. I'm just gonna say it. It definitely is. We got, our youth is, that's where they getting everything from. I can remember being a kid and I didn't even know what the hell was going on the other side of town, because I'm on my side of town. I'm in my neighborhood. I'm having a good time. I'm just enjoying being a youth.
Right.
And when we come to the gender part, you see them gender roles putting on the internet and everything like that. My advice is just, every situation is different. Yep. And in your situation, you identify which role you're going to play and which role your spouse is going to play. Right. So that's just what I'm going to say about it.
You touched on something real quick before we information overload. That's a real thing. Like you said, when we was back in the day, you ain't really know what was going on the other side of the town unless you was mixed all around the hood. You know what I'm saying? But information, it is such thing as too much information. I gotta tell my son, like, I'm blessed to have the kids I got. You know what I mean? I got 2 beautiful boys, man. Like, my kids still go outside. You know what I mean? They still, hey, Dad, let's throw the ball. Bet. You know what I mean? Like, he knew I had a game today, so we went to the cages to get some work in this morning. You know what I mean? Like, you need that type of energy to have your kid, especially in today's society, because bullying is different. You know what I'm saying? Not to go off topic, but bullying ain't just in your face no more. It's over the gram. Like, I had to have a conversation with my son because he's an athlete. He plays baseball. He's known out here. He's pretty good, you know what I mean? And I think it was one kid that he was playing basketball. They saw his reaction to an action that may have happened beforehand. And he like kind of hit homie in the nuts while playing basketball, and that kind of made his way around. And he actually a nice hooper, and he young, he a freshman. You know what I'm saying? And he's going that clique is gonna be known forever. 22 years old, he's gonna they're gonna see that. You know what I mean? He might start balling, have a great college career, or that might be a detriment to his college career because of that. I say all that to say, like, there is such thing as an information overload. So I try to like keep my kid at bay and have him recognize signs, and you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just it's we in a different society now, bruh, and you got to see the difference between real and fake, man. You got to see the difference between real and fake.
I think I'm gonna throw one more thing is that just in this society today, being a black man, being a black youth, give yourself some grace, and then also, we definitely gotta, tap into therapy. That's one thing that, we feel like, hey, we ain't going to no damn therapy, but we gotta tap into that. We gotta check it out. Use them benefits if you got them. Yes. So
Preach.
Definitely.
Preach.
Yeah. I'm ready to have my last comment on this. Touch the internet thing, because that's one thing. Kids, your parents been through it. And I might sound like an old head when I'm saying this, because I go through it with my children too. I understand. Y'all think all the answers are on the internet, on social media. I get it. You ain't listening to your coaches because you seen James Harden did the tween 35 times and hit the three-pointer.
Still lost in the game 7, by the way.
Yeah, I get it. You think he got, but what y'all don't see is the journey.
Right.
So he had a whole journey before that to get that nice. You know what I'm saying? And he went through the basic fundamentals to get there and perfected each and every one of them. I say that to say this. Everything isn't what it seems. And most of the people that are in your corner, they're in your corner. So don't take that for granted, because sometimes you can do things to exhaust people to where now you don't have nobody to look out for you.
Right.
So take advantage of the people that are looking out for you. They ain't trying to hold you back. They ain't trying to hate on you. They really are just showing you love, and use that to your benefit, because those people will not always be there. And you're going to find out, especially if you're a minority, this world can be harsh. Okay. It can be harsh. Your first mistake can be your last mistake. At the end of the day.
So true.
So just take a breath. You know what I'm saying? Think about what you do before you do it. And the jewels are out there, and just listen to the people that you know are worth listening to. That's my final say on that.
Hey, that's real, man. Cause life it's not gonna always go the way you think it's gonna go and plan. Speaking of that, Shedeur Sanders dropped to the 5th round. Thoughts?
Yeah.
Thoughts, real quick.
So, man, I've been talking about this. They talk about, everybody has their own opinion.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, he needed to be humble. He needed to be this. He needed to be that. All right, little history lesson. He is not the first person to do this.
No, he's not.
All right? Now, go back and see what the newspapers and the blogs and internet was saying when Eli Manning did it.
Mm-hmm.
His father took his particular interest and was not letting him go to play for a certain team.
Right.
And that was just what it was. Was it him being a good dad, or was it him being overly cocky and he needed to be humble? Which one is it? You know what I'm saying? Because if it's the same for him, then it didn't have the same opinion for Shedeur. You know, that's all I'm gonna say on that. I don't have any problem with how Shedeur acts. If he wants to be a professional athlete, his dad was prime, and that's who his dad raised him to be. And he has done nothing but gone to school on a scholarship, play football, put up numbers.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what crimes is this kid committing? Let's think about it.
And you a Pittsburgh fan, man, because I was kind of weird on how Steelers ain't get your boy anyway. But before I chime in, what's your thought?
Man, I was in a grocery store today, and a guy asked me about that, like how you feel about us not picking up Shedeur. I'm like, man, I like Will Howard. Don't get me wrong, and I think that as a Pittsburgh fan, we all still caught up on that Big Ben era. Mm-hmm. So we bring Will Howard in, and he got that same type of play, got that same size. So that's what we was caught up on. But we forget, though, we had Cordell Stewart, too.
Definitely did.
Slash, right? From Colorado.
Yeah, from Colorado.
So we had Shedeur that we could have got and did the same exact thing. So him dropping to the 5th round, man, that's definitely, I'm like, it's going to give him some motivation, but I think he definitely should have been drafted sooner than what he was.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, man, I don't know if we got some cats that's really going to study this show today. I need y'all to understand how every topic we touch come full circle. You know what I'm saying? Because you touched on it. Eli Manning and Archie did it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I don't care what y'all say. Y'all can have an opinion about Shedeur's talent. He's not as athletic as Cam Ward, his arm strength, blah, blah, blah. All I know is the most wide receivers this year that went to the league came from one school. That was Colorado State. Who threw them wide receivers the ball? Number one, right? Number two, speaking on how the grant information and going into the town halls and all of that, you see how they move the goalposts? When you come in as a confident young man with a father, a confident young black man with a father who's been there every day of his life, who's a real father. You know what I'm saying? It's weird energy how the black man, he not in the household, this, that, and the third. He's detriment to society. He's a wild dude. He's this, that, and the third. We have nobody that got our back. It's always something. Being in the corporate world, they treat us different. Being a black straight male is weird nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even going to do all of that. I just say all that to say, like, it's weird how the goalposts move when y'all talk about it so bad, but when you have somebody that's actually in the home, that's actually a role model, that's actually a benefit to society, and who take care of their kid, now it's a detriment. Now they looked at weird. Now it's cocky. Now it's he's too confident. Oh, he needs to be humbled. Oh, this, that, and the third. Yeah. Oh, his Giants interview was trash. The way he didn't know the plays. First of all, if that was really true, I think we would have saw some footage by now. Right. We done seen all the footage when the Bowl was criticizing these QBs that didn't know what they was talking about in these meetings. We saw actual footage, but we haven't seen actual footage of that. And number two, me being a Buffalo Bills fan, the Bowl, who was the assistant coach for the Bills before he became a Giants fan, we know he was there for the maturation of Josh Allen. He's looking for another Josh Allen. Shador was not a Josh Allen. Dirt and they brain is a Josh Allen. So don't even get it twisted. Even if that interview shit was true, he was never picking Shador Sanders, dog. On top of he wanted somebody that's like a Josh Allen, he definitely doesn't want somebody who may know football better than him, who happened to be the daddy of the quarterback that you draft to come into the Giants, and now he looking at his job as well. So it's a lot of nuances that they don't talk about and don't say. Yeah. And it's funny how they move the goalposts when somebody come in on the same type of time that Archie Manning and Eli did. Right. And Eli wasn't that much better than Shador either coming out of college. So
I think they did numbers comparison.
I believe so as well, brother.
So I think it was in Shador's favor. Don't quote me on that, but
so,
I believe it was. But
we know the real, but it's just, I'm saying it out loud. It's just funny and amazing how the goalposts move for certain situations. And props to Deion Sanders for being a dope human and a dope dad.
Hey,
yeah,
for real.
100%. 100%. Yeah, that was fire.
I dig it. Joe, how you feel, brother?
Man, I feel good.
You gonna swing back through, man?
Man, if y'all gonna have me.
Oh, for sure. I appreciate you coming by, man. Definitely drop a lot of knowledge on us today, man.
Yes, sir, man.
That's another one for Politic'n with Shades. We got Joe. We got my man Prop.
I'm just politicking with shades on, trying to give you game like Parker Brothers, my name.
And then you have it. We out.
Doses.